Mort's Relation had a sequel. Can you believe it? I had no idea. Talking about that book next. Hey, so trying to move along here on the Plymouth reading list. This is one of the books I added in. I didn't even know it existed. Because who knew Mort's Relation had a sequel? I had no idea. It's called The Good News from New England. And I think, as I was saying in my Mort's Relation video, Mort's Relation, a journal of the Pilgrims at Plymouth. And this, I think this version said it was unknown who the authors were, which I heard. And then I read things that say it's Edward Winslow and another person together that wrote this, or it was just Edward Winslow. I don't know what the true definitive answer is. I still am not 100% sure if we know the true definitive answer, but we do know that Edward Winslow wrote Good News from New England, which was published in 1624, so it was just 2 years after this one. So it picks right up with the story. It says, a true relation of things very remarkable at the plantation of Plymouth in New England. And this edition has a really cool cover from Plymouth Plantation. And so this book was written, as I said with this one, to persuade people to come over to the new colony, which, I don't know. I don't think I'd be wanting to come over here after reading either of these. I was pretty surprised that they actually were, it seemed like they were just hanging on still, in 1622, 1623. They didn't have it together yet. Plymouth was kind of a rough place to live still. But I mean, that really makes sense, you know? To me it does anyways. So we'll put that over there. We don't need that anymore. I would say, though, that it does have a very different feel from the other one. But there are sections of this book where I can see that possibly the author, Edward Winslow, was writing in Mort's Relation. It just has a different kind of tone to me overall. Although I have to say, he's a pretty funny guy, and it is slightly kind of like a lighthearted feel, even though it's not really lighthearted stuff going on. There was like a comedic moment kind of in Mort's Relation that I really liked. But I can see that it kind of fits. This one's harder to read, I'm not gonna lie. It was harder for me to get into The Good News from New England. So I don't know. I think whoever he worked on Mort's Relation with really, I'm like looking over here. I should just hold on to the book, I guess. So whoever he worked on this with, I think really helped with the flow of the book. Because I just enjoyed Mort's Relation a lot more. I will say, there's this really great part where he goes to help nurse Massasoit back to health. Massasoit's very sick, and he goes and he makes some like chicken soup and tea. I loved that part, just because I like people making little concoctions and cooking and herbs, and it was cozy. It was really cozy, and it was cute. It was cute. I don't know. I liked that section a lot. So actually, if you were gonna just read this, just read that section alone even, it would be totally worth it. And it's worth it to read the whole thing, to have, you know, a better picture of history. And it is interesting. It didn't flow as well for me. Didn't flow along. Not that it's really that difficult. It is written, you know, in 1623, so the language is a bit different, but it's not really that difficult. And it's an extremely short book. I'll tell you, hold on. This edition is 72 pages. I think that had an introduction, possibly. No, it didn't really have an introduction. So, this is Winslow's relation, it says here. I like that. Winslow's relation, Mort's relation. It's interesting. You might want to consider picking this one up if you're interested in the history of Plymouth. You might. So if the camera angle looks slightly different, it's because I just finished a video, but I remembered something that I wanted to say that I left out. So I was reading a little bit about Winslow today in preparation for this video, and I learned that he actually worked for a printer editing in London before he went to Leiden, and in Leiden, in Holland, he joined up with the Pilgrims, but he also worked at a printer's in Leiden. So he had some experience with publishing, and it said that the very last book he worked on in London was a travel log of someone traveling through Europe. So it was really interesting to me because you definitely, these definitely have a travel log kind of feel, which it makes them feel like adventure stories, which, you know, if you're trying to sell coming over here to their rugged colony, you know, an adventure, I guess selling it as an adventure would be the best way to do that. It would be appealing in that sense to people, I guess. So I just wanted to say that about him. And you get a really good picture of Winslow's personality in this book, which I enjoy. It's interesting. You know, you can really get an idea of someone's personality that lived 400 years ago. That's very interesting. I might try and find out some more about Winslow. I'm a little bit of a Winslow fan now. A little bit of a Winslow fan. Yeah, so I do recommend this. Yeah. Okay, that's all I have to say. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I'm gonna stop the video and start it again. I think I've said everything. There's not that much to say. It's a little book. I'll see you in the next video. Next Plymouth book video, or some other book video if you're interested. Check it out. See you then. Thanks for watching.